Isn't it? It's such a good feeling.
So if you guys kind of whoever's here, yes, I like yours too. Whoever's here in the chat, could you please just let me know where you're coming in from? And I see your name. So just let me know where you're coming in from, how you're doing.
Yes, where in the world are you? I am in New Orleans.
I know, I thought you were from the South. How is that going?
You know what? It's been cold for us, okay? I know it's not like 13 degrees, but it's been cold for us. And people are dressing in boots and scarves. So, yes, we think that 45 degrees is cold for us.
I think it's been cold everywhere. I know Mandy Jean is from New Mexico. She's on here, and she says it's freezing in the desert right now.
In the desert. How ironic.
Yeah, rainy in San Diego.
And Tori, where are you?
I am in New York City. It's a little bit warmer than the past 2 days, which is great, but I usually like to hang out right here in my office and not go too far. Especially in winter, because I can't stand it. Yeah, Mandy Jean saying the frozen desert of Mexico.
Wow.
It was a little cold in my office, so I had to put on a sweater. I feel like I'm Mr. Rogers right now.
I've got a jacket on too.
Don is saying rainy San Diego. Noreen, Daytona. Oh, I hope it's sunny there. Kimmy is from Alberta, Canada.
Wow, welcome, eh?
We have Norway.
Oh, Norway. Wow, that's amazing. I have a daughter who's half Norwegian, but I've never been to Norway.
No, neither have I, honestly. All right, guys, so it's about 3 minutes past. We've got a lot of information on home organizing here. And if you can, we have a hashtag called #HomeOrganizing2016. Make a little note of that. And if you hear anything fun or just want to share this over there on your social platforms, please use that hashtag. That is the official hashtag of our speech. Right?
Home Organizing 2016. You can use it on IG, on Instagram, on Twitter, and even on Facebook.
Yes.
Let everyone know you're here.
I did want to.
Like I'm doing right now. That's why I'm looking down, because I'm social.
I know, so social. All right. So actually, rather than you guys just seeing our faces the whole entire time, I did put together a little presentation slide so you're able to see and see some information, see some pictures, see what we're talking about, as well as see our faces and who's actually talking to you. So I figured this would be a pretty good platform. If all works out well, we'll be doing this more and more.
Absolutely. I just took a picture of you, and you look really good.
Oh, thank you. You look great with your tiara on.
I'm the fairy organizer. I have to have my tiara. I like my sparkle. See, even my nails.
Yes. Wow. Those things are deadly.
Let's get started.
Yes, let's get started. I'm going to switch over to the presentation part of it. So give me a second while I do that. So I hope everybody sees my screen right here. And here is the hashtag Home Organizing 2016 right there. You can check it out. Thanks, Don. I see that you tagged me in a post over there on Facebook.
Yay.
Okay, so basically, if you could just do me one little favor, just turn off all your distracting things, your phone, your emails, any other programs that you have opened right now. You know, I want you to find a quiet place, give yourself some time to really discover what home organizing is all about and how you can utilize it in your own home, because I'm sure many of you have tried organizing before and it hasn't really worked out, right? So I don't want that to happen to you again this year. I want you to really get these strategies. And we do have a fast action bonus that I'll tell you about later in this call. And you're going to want to listen to it because there's a lot of value here that I want to give you for how many at all. All right, so basically, tell me, have you ever wondered why your home always seems disorganized? If you could just tell me in the chat, you know, if you've ever wondered that, you know, yes or no. I know I've wondered that sometimes. How about you, Diane?
Yes. You know what? Before I became super organized, I would always wonder why everyone else around me was so disorganized. So, you know, sometimes we can control our own spaces, but not other people's spaces. So we can talk a little bit about that later.
I know. And I feel like sometimes my home is disorganized because of the people or animals, for that matter, that live in here. So, not necessarily coming from me.
Exactly. Because we're so perfect.
Oh,
no,
yeah.
Not.
So Don saying yes, Noreen saying yes, Mandy Jean saying I live with 2 bloodhounds and I am married. I just need clean.
I'm married, therefore I'm not organized.
Yes. Okay, what about, I mean, I'm sure this is all going to be yes, but tell me in the chat, have you all tried to get organized and failed?
I know we can all relate to that, Tori. All of us.
I know I have.
Even those of us who do it for a living or, you know, have a passion for it, we've all at some point or another failed at organization.
You want to know why though? Because it's like a living, breathing organism, right? And you've always got to constantly tweak it or else you're going to fail at it.
Absolutely.
What about this question, guys? Tell us in the chat. How would you feel if your life was organized? Mandy Jean says, wait, oh, chat's going too fast. Yes, dogs, kids, hubbies, and me. Mandy, every January 1st, she feels that she fails, I would think. Too many times to count. Let me count, as Shakespeare said, let me count the ways. Or was the poet? Thank you. Monica says she'll feel less stressed. Noreen said she would feel awesome. Hi, Barbara from Florida. Andy is saying less hectic and more space.
That is a big one, less hectic. We all feel so busy. We all lead such busy lives, and being organized can help with that.
I know. I love this. I love this one. Mandy Jean says she'd take more naps. Good.
Mandy, I love you. I am totally with you. I'm so into the power nap.
All right, let's keep going. All right. Well, actually, we're going to talk about ourselves. So why do we need this screen right here? Hold on.
We are.
Stop that. Awesome. Sorry, a lot of screens going on. So basically, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Tori Toth. I am a home staging expert in the New York City area. I opened up a home staging company back in 2009 called Stylish Stagers, Inc. And recently, I've written a book. You can find it in your bookstores online. It's called Feel at Home: Home Staging Secrets for a Quick and Easy Sell. And we also have an online home staging course. All of this staging, you may be saying, like, you know, why does staging relate to organizing? Because when you're trying to sell a home, you obviously need to get it organized. It needs to look pristine, and that involves organization. So that is just one section of all the little things that I do in my company, but I feel it's really important, and I really wanted to talk about it now.
Especially in the new year.
Yes, especially in the new year. So, Diane, why don't you tell us a little bit about why you're the fairy organizer?
So, my name is Diane de las Casas. I am a children's book author. I have 26 traditionally published books. I'm also a professional storyteller and the fairy organizer of Once Upon a Storage. So, I've always had a passion for organizing. I've been organizing for well over 20 years. I used to work in law offices, and I would set up offices from filing systems to desk arrangements, everything. I do all of the organizing. And so last year I decided that I wanted to combine my passion for children's books and my passion for organizing. So Once Upon a Storage was born, and now I have a dedicated YouTube channel in which I teach organizing techniques, and I do a lot of DIY and home decorating and what I call free IY, which is something I find for free plus DIY, and I turn it into something new.
I know we actually did a collab on that, and that's how me and Diane actually met. We did meet on YouTube, and our relationship is just blossoming. That's why we are here on YouTube live stream right now.
Yes, because I've been a fan of Tori since she started her YouTube channel. I love her stuff. And you know what? Home staging just isn't about selling a home. I think we can all relate to staging our homes, like when we have company or when we have parties. So home staging is an important part of, loving your home and making the space your own.
It is very true. Staging is about living in your home too. It's not about just when you're selling. It's a way of life. All right, but we're not talking about staging, we're talking about organizing. So what we are going to learn today is basically the 7 most common reasons why people aren't seeing results. What are people who are getting results doing differently, and a solution for integrating organization into your daily routine. So let's start with the 7 reasons why someone never begins organizing. The first one here is I can't create and keep organizing systems. How many of you have ever felt like this? Make sure to type that in the chat. How about you, Diane? Have you ever felt like this, especially as an organizer?
I have. You know what? And I think it's all about creating the right systems for you and your family. And one of the things that I've discovered over the years is that the system has to work with you and your family's already established habits. And I think that is a thing that people have a hard time with, that they try to set up something completely new and completely foreign. And that is an unrealistic expectation that kind of sets people up for failure.
Yeah, and I mean, I've always had clients tell me, my kids won't keep it organized, or, my mom had places for, it was just like, if they can't keep it organized, what's the point? They don't really know where to put anything. So that's a lot of reason why people don't keep organizing systems, because they don't know how to. I mean, I know I grew up in a cluttered and fairly disorganized home. My mom had places for most items. It's just that she had a combination of too many items and then not enough space. So I think there wasn't really a system to put things away, which is so important, right?
Exactly. And I grew up in a military family, so there was order, but my mom, she liked collectibles. So although everything was neat, it was a little bit cluttery.
I know my mom.
I grew up wanting to run away from that. Sorry, Mom.
Yeah, me too. My mom loves her cows.
Oh, yes. The collectibles.
Collectibles. Okay, so what is the purpose of getting organized to you? You want to answer that question, Diane?
Okay, for me, getting organized helps facilitate productivity, efficiency, a sense of calm and peace. And those are things that we definitely strive for. Well, most of us really would like to have in our everyday lives. So I think that is why being organized or getting organized is so important.
Yeah, and I want everybody on this call right now to really start thinking about why you specifically want to get organized. It's usually because you're looking, to change an emotional state. You want to feel more relaxed, which I know some people said we're about to take naps and stuff. You want to feel more productive. You want to have some control. So when you get organized, think about what's in it for you, and this is what's going to keep you motivated. Yes, so that is the next slide, right? I love this quote from Zig Ziglar. People often say motivation doesn't last. Well, neither does bathing, and that's why we recommend it. Okay? You need to focus on staying motivated every day, or nothing will get accomplished.
Absolutely.
Right? So,
Well, Tori, the statistics are that people make New Year's resolutions at the beginning of the year, and they give up their New Year's resolution by January 15th. So 2 weeks into the new year, and people are already giving up. So I think it's important for us to grasp that it's not a resolution, it's a lifestyle. It's a habit that you develop.
it is.
Organization isn't about bins and boxes and storage pieces. It's about developing those habits.
Yeah, and those take about, I think it's what, 21 days?
At least 21 days to create a good habit, yes. Or a bad habit.
True. So what keeps you motivated? What keeps you motivated? And actually, while she's answering that, you guys type in the chat, what keeps you guys motivated?
What keeps me motivated? Well, I think having a beautiful space keeps me motivated. I like having form as well as function. So when I put an organization system together, not only does it have to function well, I want it to be beautiful. I don't want to just have a bunch of mismatched things just all put together just for the sake of organizing. So I actually like to have a little bit of both. And I like being productive. I like being able to accomplish things. See, I'm a writer. I can't have 26 books without being able to have the time to sit down and write. So being organized helps me to do that. And what about you, Tori?
Yeah, you need a lot of time for that.
It's called button chair, BIC, button chair.
I stay motivated just because I don't like to look at clutter, and I know if my mom's on here, she'll probably kill me, but I don't want to end up having a house like that. So that's kind of what keeps me motivated, and keeps my house clean. I mean, we have a daily routine too that we follow to try and stay on top of everything, because it can be challenging, right?
Yeah, especially when you walk through the door, everybody's coming home from work and from school, and they have bags and they have stuff. Yes, and people want to put their stuff down right away and get to the thing that they need to do next. So it's easy to just let it all go.
So here are some organizational skills that I want everybody to take note of right now. Okay, because we can all improve upon these. I mean, even the most organized people can improve on these. Everyone has learned these basic skills as a child, but you may just be a little bit rusty right now. So let's refresh your memory. Okay, and first of all, everything, has a home. Right, Diane?
Absolutely. In fact, I always say that everything must have a specific and permanent home. So every single thing in your house, from your paper clips to your rubber bands, and they can have more than one home. For instance, rubber bands, I might have some in the kitchen and I might have some in the office, but they definitely have their own place and their own space.
Yeah, I've had clients store random items basically like all over the place, bathroom items in the kitchen, bedroom items in the bathroom.
Deodorant on the kitchen counter. No.
Yeah, and so most of the items, don't get put away in the proper place because they never had a home to begin with, right? So you want to find the best possible place for all your belongings. So this is really the first question you want to ask yourself is, where will you use this item? Okay, and then will you remember where the item is, and does it need to be visible or easy to reach?
And if you have children, those two things are very important: visible and easy to reach. Children will not put things away if they can't see it or if they can't reach it. So if you are putting in place organizational systems for small children, that is something you definitely want to keep in mind. And you can take a page out of your child's teacher's book. So if you go into a kindergarten classroom, you will see that everything has a place. Each child has their own bin. They have specific places for every single thing in the classroom.
I know. We just actually did with our organizing collab. Our organizing collab here. We did have someone who did that, so I thought that was really interesting. That everything was low for the kids, so they could
her money. Yeah.
All right, guys, let's continue. I don't want you here all night. I just want to get you the information that you need and then move on. All right, so when thinking about where, you guys, can you see me? Yes, right? You see the screen or you see me?
Yes, we see the screen.
Okay, awesome. Basically, when you're thinking about where to store an item, remember that you're going to want to group like items together, or items that belong with each other together. This way it's easier to retrieve and put away. So, for example, we're in the office right now. Ink cartridges and paper should really be near the printer because they all go together, right?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm glad I got that one right. Also, like in the pantry, baking items, all of those can be placed in one bin, box, or container, so that you have all of your baking items together, or all of your pastas stay together, like with like.
Yes, love it. Also, checklists and schedules will help you prioritize. Did I say that word right? Prioritize. Stay on track, create, efficiency, and, allow you to clear the mental clutter that is making you feel disorganized. I know some people in the comments had said just less stressed, and that really has to do with all the mental clutter that's going on inside your brain.
Exactly. In fact, I use my smartphone for that because I carry my phone. I have an iPhone and I carry it with me everywhere. I run most of my business from my phone, actually. And I have several apps. One of my favorites is called Wunderlist, and I use that for my checklist and to-do list, and also Evernote.
Wunderlist is W-O-N-D?
No, it's W-U-N-D-E-R, Wonder, like the German Wunder, Wunderlist. Yes.
I'll put that in the chat right there.
It's a great app. I really love it. It's wonderful.
All right. You're also going to want to, take like large tasks or projects and break them down into manageable ones. This is going to stop your procrastination and change your perception, right? To allow you to focus just a little bit better. So let's say cleaning your house is an overwhelming job for you. It's pretty overwhelming for a lot of people. But if you break up the chores over a few days, you're really cleaning a half an hour to an hour each day rather than spending a whole day or half a day cleaning. Does that make sense for everybody?
Or if you're tackling a big job such as a closet or a garage, if you break it down into manageable tasks and zones and set a time limit, it becomes much easier. Instead of thinking of, oh my gosh, it's going to take me a month to clear out this garage, you just do a little at a time.
Yes. And maintaining a clean home will always make you feel more organized because your physical clutter will be a little bit more manageable. All right, so for all of you pack rats, everyone has a favorite outfit, place to sit, a photo. So as you begin to declutter, choose your favorite items from the area, then, start removing other items taking up the space. So you want to pick your favorites and get rid of the other things that you don't need in life anymore.
Marie Kondo says in her New York Times bestselling book, The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up, I had to remember the title. She says, choose items that spark joy. So pick your favorites. What items spark joy for you, bring you absolute pleasure? And those that don't, maybe you don't need them.
Yeah, that is a good way to look at it, because people just think that they need everything that was given to them, and it starts adding up. So basically, with all the extras out of the room, you'll now have room to grow and bring in new things
that spark joy.
Yep, exactly. And, because your lifestyles and your interests change and grow too. So you need the stuff around you to kind of grow with you. All right, let's go to number 2 here. I love that my slides are a little weird.
But I can't get rid of that.
I thought you were going to say it in a much more whinier voice.
I'm trying to move things along, Tori.
All right, so emotions, they can be a big influence on someone when it comes to getting organized. And really many times people associate emotions with material possessions. So for instance, I can't get rid of, these curtains because my grandmother made them, or my father started this coin collection, so I have to keep it. But really, when you organize your home, you're essentially changing your home and your habits, which can be overbearing for some. So
I'll give you a little perspective. So you and I both went through some major hurricanes. You went through Sandy, and I went through Hurricane Katrina. And one of the things I learned is that material things are just material things. And yes, there are memories attached to photos and those kind of things you don't want to get rid of. But the rest of it, it can be replaced. Lives cannot be replaced, but things can. So when you are getting rid of things, just remember that.
That is really true. I mean, I had a stack, I had a whole entire trunk. This was the one thing that really made me mad about the whole situation. And it's a quick story. But I had a whole entire trunk in my office, and it was filled with 9/11 newspapers from the actual day up until, when it started coming out of the newspapers about a year later. And I was going to make an entire scrapbook. Not necessarily to give it to one of my kids or something like that, but just to have it, and it all got washed away. So that was just the one thing that I never got to, and I had to just kind of let it go. So that's what you gotta do, let it go, right?
Sometimes you just have to let it go. I'm not going to go into the Frozen song. I'm just saying, let it go.
I totally thought you were gonna do the Frozen song. All right. Back to the slides here. I love this bedroom. I know you commented on it before. It's so nice. All right. So what do you fear? Oh, you guys can't see me.
There you go.
All right. So what do you fear if you get organized? What do you guys?
I know what some people fear. Some people fear that they can't keep it that way. And some people have I think kind of a weird fear of success. Like they're so used to things being the way they are that they don't embrace the change.
I think
Anyone relate to that?
that is probably the biggest one.
Change is scary. Change is so scary. I actually do whole house makeovers. You want to talk about scary? I just finished one for a family, and putting in systems and working with their already existing habits and changing things. And it's still a struggle for them, but they are keeping it up. And it's the change that I think is the hardest thing for them.
Yeah, I've had clients too. They've broken down. They started crying. This one person in particular, when I began to tell her really that these things need to be removed for staging. That's one of the hardest parts in staging. Telling people that you got to remove this stuff.
And the pictures, yeah.
Yeah, and so she became very standoffish, like usual. I'm always getting,
Sorry, you're so mean.
And really, when I confronted her, she said she wasn't ready to part with these items because they were her mom's and she had just passed away, which is obviously understandable. But there are times when it's just what matters more in your life at the moment. You're always going to have these possessions. In my case, she just had to pack them away for a little bit. So there's usually a fear attached to this, right? In organization,
fear of loss. It's called fear of loss.
Yeah. And organization, it doesn't happen until really after you've sifted through all of your belongings. So how do you do that, right?
APS.
Keep
it, purge it, store it.
So yeah. And I like the 80-20 rule too. So basically that is approximately 80% of the benefit comes from 20% of the effort, right?
Right.
So if you apply that to clutter, we only use about 20% of our possessions 80% of the time. So why not just get rid of the rest of it, right? I mean, so here's how we do it, right? And Diane, I want you to jump in here. But basically, you want to start small, one room, one closet.
One junk drawer.
Yes.
You know how I feel about junk drawers. Ladies, if you have a purse, start with your purse. Empty everything out. Decide what you're going to keep and what you're going to toss. You'll find lots of stuff in there you didn't realize existed, like petrified French fries and little parts of toys, right? Or start with a junk drawer. It's a small area, but when you finish it, you feel accomplished, and you can do it in a relatively short period of time.
Yes. And I'm just looking over here at the chat. Noreen says that my husband won't be on board. He hoards. So that's her fear.
Oh, here's the thing about dealing with someone else who doesn't have the same lifestyle habits you have. I was married to a man. I just got recently divorced. We're still friends, so it's cool. But he is a piler, and I am a filer. And one of the things that I had to do was learn how to let go. There are certain things, certain areas that I would say, okay, that's his area. He's going to keep it the way he keeps it, and I'm going to do the rest of the house. So maybe what you can do with your husband is kind of compromise and designate a place where he can keep some of his, favorites or the things that he loves, so it doesn't take up the whole entire house.
That's definitely a good, it's just hard in general when you're living with other people because everybody has kind of a different style or a lack of style. And it takes some, coaxing, right? Don is saying here too, my wife will make me organize everything. My car,
Don, I like your wife.
The garden? Don, how do you organize a garden? Like in planting flowers and stuff?
A is for arugula. Z is for zinnia.
Oh, and Kathy here says her fear of being caught up and having nothing on my to-do list. Crazy as that sounds.
See, that's the fear of success. That is the fear, because that is a success in my book. So that's a fear of success, not a fear of loss, but a fear. Well, I guess it's also a fear of loss, fear of not having anything to do. But if you watch our YouTube channels, you will always have something to do.
Oh, yeah, we'll keep you busy. Oh, Don is saying weeds. You have to organize the weeds?
No, he's in the weeds with his wife, and he doesn't organize the garden.
Mm-hmm. All right, so let's talk about this little, I guess, 5 creative piles, right? That's what we want them to do, right, Diane?
Exactly.
So
keep it, toss it, sell it, donate it, or store it. And purging is you see that as like one category. It's so important to purge, to get rid of the things that, again, don't serve a purpose or no longer serve you. Even if it was something that was a gift or it was given to you, you decide whether you're going to toss it, throw it away, sell it, like on Craigslist or on Declutter. There's a bunch of websites that you can sell things on, or donate it to someone like Goodwill or Salvation Army, or I call the veterans, and they come and do pickups at my house, which I love.
Yeah, and I love doing, I love selling things, and there's so many apps where you can sell things on now. But you even if it's just $5 that you get back, that's money that you could put towards new organization storage
right.
product. You can, it's money, it's valuable. So you'd rather have something more valuable to you than just things lying around your house.
So one of the things my mom would always say to me, and my mom is Filipino, so I was born Filipino. My mom would say, but I paid so much money for that. That was like $800 in the beginning. And I would tell my mom, but Mom, it's no longer worth $800, and it's actually causing you to lose money because it's taking up valuable space that you could do something else with. So that's
yeah. So those are the piles as you're going through that one little area that we want you to go through. Start small, as you mentioned, and then create these piles. Okay, and start as you pick something up, figure out what pile it goes in, and just put it down. And then you'll go on to deal with the
Quickly.
pile as you see fit.
Do it quickly. Don't like linger. Make the decision right away and don't put off the decision. Just keep going.
Yes.
Go with your gut.
All right. So the third reason why someone may never really organizes is because they're dealing with a life moment. We all know life kind of gets in the way. And this type of person was most likely a very organized person until this life event, like a divorce or a baby or a move.
Care of an elderly, loved one. There's so many life moments. Getting a new dog, even.
Yeah, it it disrupts the schedule, the routines, and the habits of that particular person. So if this is you, type that in the chat. We'd love to know if this resonates with you. And then whether the change is really good or bad in your life moment here, you have to face it head on and change your organizing system to fit your new reality.
Exactly. Yeah. Guess what, Tori? I have half of a closet that's empty, so I have to reorganize. Get more closet space. Yay.
You're shopping. Okay, so just like anything else you do in your life, you really need to create a plan. So whatever it is that you want to achieve, writing it down is one step closer to making it possible, and tracking your progress will help you break down and achieve those goals. I know there's a lot of people on here that are very goal oriented, and you just kind of have to make organizing part of a goal.
And I just wrote an article about the 10 habits of super productive people. And one of the things is super productive people finish what they start. They take a project from inception to completion and make no excuses. So if you want to be a super productive person and you want to be organized, make no excuses and just do it. Stick with the plan.
Stick with the Nike slogan there, just do it.
Whoosh.
All right, so how do we do that, right? Let's talk about this a little bit. We have an organizing strategy here that we want to talk to you about. You guys all see that?
Yes.
Okay. So the first one is, so this is going to be the plan, all right? And it's all about the strategy. And this is what you're going to do in every area of your home, okay? And again, we want you to think small, that, take that one closet, the one corner, the one room, the one drawer, and determine if you're going to keep, store, toss, sell, or donate it, okay? Then make sure to group like items together that you're keeping. And then what you're going to do is remove all the items that will be tossed, sold, or donated, okay? And then really you could put the sell items in a clear bin, like mark it for a yard sale or whatever you're going to do with it. You could store it in the garage or the attic until the sale. The donated items.
Sure that the sale happens relatively quickly, because I find that a lot of people, when they put it in that temporary space for storage or for keeping until, that garage sale can happen, sometimes that becomes clutter in and of itself. So make sure that if you're going to have a garage sale or if you're going to donate it, that you schedule those things right away.
Yeah, and how do you do your donated items? Do you usually, I know some people have like a box that they keep.
I actually have, right by my front door, I have what I call an action center, and it's a 4-tier shelf. The first is incoming mail, the second is outgoing mail, the third is to the car, stuff I need to take to the car, and then the very bottom is donate. So like if my daughter has a sweater that doesn't fit her, she'll stick it in there, and then I'll take it and put it in our larger donation pile. And then when it gets to I fill a box, then I call for schedule for a pickup.
Yeah. You gotta handle these items quickly, or else they'll just become clutter in a different part of your house.
Exactly.
All right, so next you want to clean the space where you're going to be placing your items, right? And it may be a shelf, the drawer, the closet. Just wipe it down because why not? And then begin to assign a home for your stuff. And you're going to want to create a zone category. You know, Diane talked about this a little bit. And then possibly a sub-zone, depending on if you need smaller categories. So here is this closet. And I wish my closet looked like this.
Yeah, that's because this person, whoever did this closet, they got rid of the 80% of the clothes that they don't wear, and they just kept the 20% that they do wear.
Yeah.
See, this is a truly organized person. But what I love about this is all of the different zones. So you can see dresses are in one little zone. The high heel shoes are in another little zone. You can see the boots are on the floor in a zone. Oh, quick tip on boots. One of the ways that I keep my boots upright, this is totally free too. I stick magazines inside my boots, and then I take a binder clip and I clip my boots together because I have multiple pairs of black boots. And let me tell you, it's not fun to grab 2 different pairs of black boots and wear them out of the house.
You take a picture the next time you do that.
Or one navy boot and one black boot because you bought them in both colors. Yeah. So I binder clip them together. It really helps.
So, I mean, this is a closet. It's obviously, there's not a lot of stuff here, but you can get the idea of zoning things. All right. And I have another example later on to show you a little.
Live in Florida. Duh. Look at that. Look at the bright colors.
I know. I mean, if you wanted to go one step further too, you could actually color code the zones.
Right.
That's some crazy organizing though, I think, right?
Yeah, and that's a little bit hard to keep up. If you are a busy mom, you have a busy career, that's a little bit hard to keep up. But you know what? My teenage daughter does that in her drawers. She actually color codes all of her t-shirts and she has them upright, and she's the neatest teenager in the entire world. I never have to tell her to organize because she's innate. It's innate with her.
Yeah, well, I think if you like rainbows and stuff like that, why not see everything kind of pretty and color coordinated, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so when you're thinking about assigning a home, think about how often you're going to use it, right? If you're going, you need it to be accessible. Like, do you need it to be accessible? Will it fit in the area that it needs to be in? Is it safe and secure? You want to ask yourself all those types of questions.
The kitchen is a good example of this. We talked about this, and I think we're going to get into this a little bit later when we show pictures of your gorgeous kitchen. But thinking in zones is a good way to assign homes to items. So like in the kitchen, just like Tori talked about with the printer and the paper and the ink cartridges, you want to have your utensils close to your dishes so when you're setting the table, you don't have to walk all over the place, creating more efficiency.
Yes. Yeah, like the coffee maker by the mugs and the creamer and all of that stuff.
Exactly.
So now the final part of the strategy is to educate others in your household. So Noreen, this is where this comes in.
So one of the things that I do when I organize a family is I have the entire family, even the very little kids, help in the process so that they can be educated and create their new habits. But one of the other things that I do is I try to work within their already existing habits. For example, if a child comes through the door and they're used to dumping their backpack on the floor right by the door and kicking off their shoes, I would create a space right there where they have hooks near the door so they can hang up their backpacks and create a rack for the shoes and not try to make it too foreign so that there is a level of success there.
Yeah. I would totally agree with that. You need to kind of work within what they already have and then, educate them and show them where everything is. I would say label everything, and even if you're doing specific colors. And on top of that, you need to lead by example. So if you want your house organized, you have to be organized. You have to show them that this means business.
Someone has to be the role model. Yes.
Yes.
Uh-oh. Here's that fourth excuse. It's too time consuming.
So, I mean, I know I have a lot of my clients have this problem. They really just don't have the time to manage their organizing plan. So they really decide never to begin one. And this way they don't really feel guilty or feel like they failed. But, the feeling usually creeps back in because you're not doing it, right? Um,
And it's the ultimate form of procrastination, really.
right. Time management can be, just a constant struggle. I mean, I even get sidetracked from time to time. I think everyone does. And it's just a matter of if you have a system in place to regroup and refocus and really get back to the task at hand. Here's a great quote by Stephen Covey. The key is not to prioritize what is on your schedule, but to schedule your priorities. Right?
So,
And
so important.
yeah, Stephen Covey, if you
So
guys
if
don't.
organization is important to you, which obviously it is because that's why you're attending this webinar, then you need to schedule the time and prioritize that. And yes, in the beginning, when you're dealing with massive amounts of clutter or a hoarder or someone who collects things, yes, it's going to take a lot of time. It's going to be time consuming and it's not going to be easy, but it's not impossible. Audrey Hepburn said, the word itself says, I'm possible. So yes, you can do it.
That is true. I think I used that quote as I was getting people on social media. All right, so how do you schedule your priorities when it comes to organizing, right? Here are a few ways you can gain control over your time. Basically, create a daily plan. I like to set a few minutes aside in the evening to regroup, review what I accomplished, look to see if I'm missing anything, and then create my plan for the next day.
I do that as well. I create a to-do list at night before I go to sleep so I can get all that mental clutter out of my head so I can sleep well. And also another thing that I do, that my daughter and I do, is that we do a sweep of the public areas before we go to bed. So the kitchen, the living room, the bathroom that we know everybody uses, we just check and make sure that things that do not belong there are put away in the homes where they belong.
It makes you feel so much better when you wake up in the morning and everything is just brand new and clean and you don't have to deal with yesterday's mess.
You know what? And I feel that exact same way about walking into my room in the evening and I see my bed made. So every day I make my bed. And it's like the very first organized thing that I accomplish in the morning, making the bed.
It says making the bed actually is like it's a keystone habit and a stepping stone to get you motivated to do actual more stuff throughout your day.
It makes you feel like you live in a hotel too. I love that feeling. People love to get away and they love that, that statement piece of the gorgeously made bed when they walk into a hotel room, and you can have that at home and create your own sanctuary.
Unless you have like 3 dogs and 2 cats on it when you leave the bed. I try every morning. I'm like pulling the blankets off them. It's like, move it. All right. So basically you want to prioritize yourself by asking yourself, what is the one thing that has to get done tomorrow? I know there's a couple of people on here that ask themselves, like, what are the top 3 things that you have to do? And you set that the night before. This way you have a clear goal in the morning. I know I use Google Calendars, but I also have an appointment book. I know a lot of people here have all types of books, but you need a calendar, an organizer, or something that's whether it be online or just pen and paper. You need to make sure that you have something that is going to hold yourself accountable. Another thing that is important to know your deadlines and attempt to get things done early. It's so less stressful when you're actually, the early bird that catches the worm.
One of the things that I always say is that deadlines are your lifelines to success. So scheduling a deadline is going to make sure that you get that particular thing done, and it makes you successful. because you've accomplished something, even if it's small.
Yeah, I mean, what I do is I sometimes trick myself. So I'll put a note like on my calendar that, let's say, like an article is due, and a week before, it's actually due. So when I forget and do it last minute, it's actually early.
Actually, that I do that a lot too, especially with my book deadlines. And a lot of times deadlines are permanent. Like, if you, especially if they're given to you by other people, work, for instance, you cannot skip that deadline. You've got to get that stuff done. And that's why it's really important to use a calendar or an organizer and schedule those things. And then the next thing that Tori has is to set reminders. And with our technology today, you can schedule reminders on your smartphones, on your laptops. I mean, and you can even do it the organic way and put a sticky note up.
Yeah, I know a lot of people that they'll have a clock nearby. I actually have hourglasses, a couple of different. I have like a 1 hour glass, and then I have a 2 hour glass, and on my desk, and I'll turn it over, and that will be my reminder. And then I'll look at it and be like, oh, time's up. Do I need to continue, or do I need to put it away and start something else? So you want to have a clock or something nearby, put a time limit on your tasks, of course, and then block any distractions.
Do you mean that we can't Facebook while we're doing these things?
No.
Come on, Tori.
No, because we can't. Look, the next letter says it. We cannot multitask, right?
Right.
I know a lot of you guys, you do like to create to-do lists. I mean, I know someone said she's a little fearful if she doesn't have anything on that to-do list. I know, I mean, my husband always wants to shoot me sometimes because I always tell him to like make a list. And
he's laughing.
he was clearing his throat like, you're right. Why are you talking about me?
No, I know about the list.
It's rubbing off on him because now he's telling me start a list.
That's funny.
So
She's right.
It happens. You got to get people, into the routine, and then it actually does start changing. Okay. You want to track the time spent on basically when you started something and when you stop something. This way you know how long it's going to take you overall. And then you also want to group like tasks together. So if you cook dinner, the next task would be to eat and then clean up. Or if you have to post an item on social media, do all your social media tasks in a half an hour time period. And it keeps you from switching gears and really wasting time.
Or you can consolidate them like I do. When I post to Instagram, I can also post to Twitter and Facebook at the same time. I don't always do that because, you don't want to double, triple post all the time. But for like at the beginning of this webinar, I wanted to get the word out. That's what I do. Consolidate.
Yes.
And delegate, right? Tori, delegating is so important. I think women, especially mothers, have a hard time delegating because they think, oh my gosh, if I don't do it, it's not going to get done, or I'm the only one who could do it right. But delegate things, delegate tasks to your kids. Let everyone in the family participate in this project of organization. It's not just a project, it's a lifestyle. Like I said, it's changing habits. Delegate, give them things to do, and give them things to do on a daily basis, like it becomes their habit or their task.
Yeah, and you have to hold them accountable too, and motivate them, and teach your kids young, because when you instill in this young, right? They actually
happened with my mom. She's 15 now, and even my 25-year-old, they're both very organized because they grew up like that. And now my 25-year-old, this is such a blessing, but she came to me and she said, Mom, I'm so glad you taught me how to organize because my space is beautiful and I have you to thank for that. Yay!
Yeah, and then when you
successful.
Well, we do. Like when you instill habits on her like that, when she has kids or something, she'll do the same thing. So, I mean, that's how you break bad habits, is you've got to create good ones, and somebody's got to be the bad guy and put their foot down and say, This is the law of the land, right?
Crack the whip. You know what? One of our family mottos is company ready. So my house is always company ready. That means if somebody knocks on the door now, I could invite them in and not be ashamed. That all the public areas are clean and organized and ready for company.
Us too. I call it show ready. All right. So the fifth reason why someone may not start organizing is because they want, so therefore they buy, right?
Yeah, I think we all fall into that habit at some point or another. I mean, we love pretty things, right? And for those of us who have some disposable income, you want to spend your money on things that you like. So you buy them. But when I have a rule in my house, when I'll go to a place like Pier 1, and you know how they change their stuff every season, and it's always so incredibly gorgeous, and you want to buy that thing just because it's so pretty. But if I go into a store and I don't have a specific place for it to go, I'm not going to buy it. I'm not going to buy that lamp or that vase just because it's beautiful, or just because I want to bring it into my house. I have to make sure that there's a purpose.
Yes, I mean, I could buy accessories all day long if I wanted to.
Seriously. Jewelry, oh my gosh.
But really,
I also try to follow the one in, one out rule. Not always, but pretty much if I buy a pair of shoes, I'm going to get rid of a pair of shoes, because there's always a pair of shoes in my closet that I'm not wearing anymore. There just always is. It either fads itself out, or it's not the right season, or you lost weight and it doesn't fit anymore. So I try to live by that one in, one out rule.
yeah, and the compulsive shopper is really someone who's trying to fill a void, right? So this person, they rarely buy an item just to replace another, and they usually have a hard time throwing anything away. So just new items keep entering the home, and nothing is being moved, and that's why
There's a void in the heart. There's a void somewhere that they're trying to fill.
yes. So you have to stop, and if you're a compulsive shopper, the only way to stop your clutter is to stop buying items that are not a necessity. That's it. Like, you got to put your foot down on that.
Absolutely.
And really only go shopping when it's necessary, and make sure to bring a list and then stick to that list. Don't go wandering off. You know what I mean? You just need to stick to on that list, buy it, and get out of there, because the next thing you know, you're going to be buying things that you don't need.
Especially if organization is your goal, that is what you want to do.
Yes. So now, I mean, I'm no financial expert here, but I just thought talking about budgets quickly could benefit some people here. I mean, a budget is pretty simple. You want to track what is coming in and going out to determine where your cash is going.
And hopefully what's coming in is more than what's going out.
That's true. I mean, you can easily do this on just an Excel spreadsheet if you wanted to, or, I mean, I like using the app mint.com to start the tracking process. Didn't you say you used something too, Diane?
I do. There's one I really love. Hang on a second and I'll tell you what it is. I love it so much I can't even remember its name. No, it's called Expense Tracker, with an X. Expense Tracker for the iPhone. I use that, and it's really awesome. And there's another one that I love. It's called Money, and it has a brown piggy bank. So if you're looking through the apps, it's called Money, and it's a really great one to track funds in and out.
Money.
Simple.
And then you want to enter really just all your fixed expenses, like your mortgage, your car payment, cable, childcare, all of that stuff, and then list of variable expenses, expenses that may change every month, like your credit card payment, clothing, or food, or something like that.
And gas.
And then track your progress for 1 month and total up, all your expenses to determine if you have to save money, and if you're living paycheck to paycheck, or if you're in debt. you're going to know that pretty quickly once you track for a month, right? And you should really be realistic.
But don't do this until you organize your office first.
Yes.
So you can do this in an organized space is when you find out that you're spending more than you're taking in.
Yes.
You're going to need a place of calm.
So, okay, really? I mean, I hate talking about saving money because I like to spend it.
Well, especially with your staging business, you get to, you know, have all these beautiful items that you place in people's homes. So it must be hard not to buy things that, hey, I might be able to use this.
Yeah, I mean, I love spending money. What I love even more is spending other people's money. So book me to stage anytime you want, right?
You know, I think the great thing about saving money is that it gives you the flexibility to do the things you need to do and take care of the things that you need to take care of. If your water heater breaks, you know, you have the money in the bank to fix that. Or you want to take a vacation. So think of your budgeting being as allowing you the freedom to have the life you want.
Yes. All right, I love you guys sticking on here. Make sure to type your questions, any questions you have about organizing, and then also what rooms or what are you looking to organize? Because I know you guys are on here for a reason. I want to make sure that we're answering the things that you really need answered so we can get you in the right direction. Let's talk about now, Diane, organizing products. I mean, this conversation can go all night, but let's quickly.
Okay, I'm a huge fan of, I like canvas bins, and you can find them everywhere now. Even Walmart has beautiful ones. I use them in my office. I use them all over. But one of the things that I do with my bins is I label them, because a lot of times these bins can be like black holes when you're organizing and you stick things in there and you're like, what's in here? So labeling is really important when you're buying your organizing products. Another thing I love is, okay, so I don't call my junk drawer a junk drawer because it's not filled with junk. I call it a utility drawer. And the way I manage this is I have this little system called the everything drawer. And you can find it on Amazon. They sell it at Walmart. But it has compartments, and each compartment has a label inside. So it has a place for your tape and your scissors and your paper clips and all the little whatnots that you keep in a quote-unquote junk drawer, or what I like to call a utility drawer. So those are a couple of favorite organizing products. What about you? What do you love?
I like more clear bins. I like to see what's in there. I don't necessarily group. I mean, I don't put everything in something like that. Yeah, that's pretty good. I like these because it's still contained. So like, I'll show you.
But see how I labeled it? This is a binder clip. So easy. And these are super cheap. And I just use my label maker and I make a label. And you can actually take this off if you want it to be look a little more streamlined.
Yes, I do like that. These are my.
I love that. That's beautiful.
And then inside, it's files. Now I like to kind of contain stuff and not necessarily go the extra mile about organizing everything in my world. So at least I know that, all home staging video stuff is related in here. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
And then if I wanted to take the next step, I could, but that's basically how I like to work. I don't need everything.
I love Tori. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. I love things from the Dollar Tree. Like the Dollar Tree, and so many of you, I'm sorry if you don't have Dollar Tree in Norway, but I'm sure you have other places like that. But they have inexpensive organizational products and things that I use that are kind of out of the box for organization. So I like to use those utensil trays, those plastic utensil trays. They're white, they're $1, and I put putty on the bottom.
Yeah.
And I use them in drawers to organize all kinds of things. So just because it's for kitchen utensils doesn't mean you can't use it to organize pens and pencils or makeup or whatever belongs in a drawer.
Yeah, I definitely use the museum putty a lot. I also like art bins as well. Let me just show you what one looks like right here. And I actually use this for my camera gear and stuff like that. to kind of contain the wires a little bit.
Yeah, those are awesome because they have the adjustable walls.
Yeah,
so you can customize it.
You could put anything in, you know, the art bin that you want, and they come in different sizes. So this is definitely a great product I like to use. You know, you want to reuse what you have first before you go out and spend a lot of money.
Shop your home. Shop your home.
Yes. And, you know, think about things in a creative way. Think about reusing something, you know, from your bathroom in your kitchen, or vice versa.
I'm reaching down to show you something. See if I can. Okay. This, I wanted to buy a cord organizer, and it was like $45. So I repurposed this box, just a white box, and turned it into a cord organizer. Works really well.
That's pretty cool. And then, I mean, who would spend money on a cord organizer like that? You know what I mean?
$45, right? Because I I can find other ways to spend $45, you know?
It's true.
Okay.
All right. So yeah, reuse what you already have. Take measurements of everything before you go shopping. You know, take measurements of the size of the shelf that you're putting something on, the drawer, because you don't want to get the wrong products, because half the time you're never going to go back and return it, and you're just going to kind of waste the money, right?
Oh my God, so true. I cannot even tell you how many times I don't return something. I'm like, oh, it's just $6. I'm not standing in that line.
I know. I rarely do it. I mean, I like the clear products, and if you're going to keep things organized, or if they're going to still be like hidden away, you want to also consider shapes and different. Sal,
Sorry.
he's trying to cook me dinner right now. Do you hear all that?
Like, what's going on over there? Live webinar. This is what happens. It's real life happening.
So you want to consider, you know, shapes and materials, like the canvas boxes that you were talking about, or maybe you want like metal wired boxes, or maybe you want wood or baskets, you know. So just consider the different shapes and materials that you may need. Also, does it need a lid? I know a lot of people, this is especially true with kids, that they won't use the lids of actual storage solution, because then the item will never get returned, right?
Or it, you know, sometimes they'll pinch their fingers when they're trying to close it. It just doesn't work.
Yeah. So and that might be you too, as an adult, that it will, you know, it's got a lid on it. So it's just one more step that you got to pick up the lid and then put something in there. So if you feel like you're not putting these away because it's a hassle, you may want to get rid of the lids. And then shop in bulk. It not only kind of saves you money, but basically you can get everything that you need all in one, you know, like a one-stop stop type thing.
Yeah. Perfect.
All right. So where do we find these goodies?
All of my favorite stores. Target has, you know, they have the Target dollar spot. That the dollar spot at Target has a lot of great organization things that come out every season. Actually more often than every season. So always check that. And Dollar Tree also now changes out their organizational products because they've become so popular, and you know, you can check with them.
I think that's really because of YouTube and how people started promoting them and having collaborations and things like that. So they needed to do different seasons. I love the Container Store. Noreen says she loves the Container Store. My whole entire office is from the Container Store.
I don't have one near me. It's so unfair. So unfair. Also, I don't have IKEA near me. I love IKEA. IKEA is a great place to find beautiful organizational products. So anytime I'm in the Houston area, I'm like, IKEA, Container Store, here I come.
You can also find things in like your local hardware store, like Home Depot or Lowe's, Staples or Home Depot, not Home Depot, Office Depot.
Yes.
So it depends on what you're organizing, really. But there's a lot of places out there, and
also Goodwill. You know what? I find beautiful things that come from like Pottery Barn or Target or, just crazy like that. Like I found something from Restoration Hardware and I was like, oh my God, this is only $3.
That's crazy. You see, you probably have better Goodwills than we do here. We really don't. Even with that Goodwill challenge that we had to do, I was like, there's nothing here. What can I do?
Well, you know what? Also, don't overlook garage sales and Craigslist and places like that for organizational products. And when I did a whole house makeover for a family, this woman has 6 children and 5 dogs. 6 children and 5 dogs. Okay, so I was on an extreme budget and I had to find a coffee table with storage, and I found one on Craigslist for $20. I mean, it was amazing. So yeah, it was so great. It was so great. So, don't overlook those places as well. When you're organizing, everything doesn't have to be brand new. It can be repurposed. If you have family and friends, if they're getting rid of things, they might have something that you can use.
So Sharon, oh my God, I've got Mr. Chef over here. Do you hear all this chaos going on?
This is so pretty, Tori.
Yeah, so this is my office, and this is all from the Container Store, like I was telling you. All the boxes, the actual shelving unit itself, it's called Alpha. I don't know if you guys have seen that or not. And it's usually used more or less for closets. And I decided to make it out of my office. So I thought that was pretty cool. Sharon says she uses boxes. That's how she that I decorate. Oh, you use shoebox that she decorates.
I've done that too. Shoe boxes are free, right? Your shoes come in them, and then you have this great box afterwards, so you can cover it with decorative paper or fabric and make them into beautiful containers, and that don't cost a lot of money. So a lot of people have the misconception that being organized costs a lot of money, that it's going to cost a lot of money to get organized. You have to hire somebody to come in. It's not always true. You can do it on a budget.
You just have to be crafty. Noreen says Michael's and Hobby Lobby. They have coupons.
Yes, of course. How could we forget?
Yes, especially if there's a sale or a coupon. All right, guys. So number 6. One of the reasons why you may not start organizing is because you need to hire Mr. Fix-It. Right?
The honey-do list.
Yes, I helped a client whose kitchen was a total disaster, right? And then everything was really laid out all over the counters. And so when I opened up the cabinet doors and stuff, nothing was inside. And I opened another door and nothing. Another, just a few pots. So when I asked him why isn't the stuff actually in the cabinets where they need to be, he said they were broken. So, all we had to do was replace the pegs for those cabinet shelves. And then we were back in business, and this whole entire kitchen was organized. I've seen homes where closets had no doors or shelves or even a broken rod, and it really deters people from getting organized.
And if you don't have anyone who can do it for you, definitely it would be worth the money to have somebody come in and fix it for you.
Yeah, and I love this quote from J.K. Rowling. Rock bottom became the solid foundation on which I rebuilt my life. So, not saying that you guys are all at rock bottom right now, but let's rebuild your organizing life. All right, so some final organizing tips. Oh my goodness. Why is my house so loud?
You were supposed to turn off your distractions.
I can't turn off the house phone. Who even has a house phone anymore?
You do. So while she's dealing with that, I'll take the first one, which is room functions. So you want to make sure that you know the function of your room. And some rooms can have multi-functions. For instance, I turned my formal dining room into what used to be my ex-husband's office. So we had separate office spaces, but it was also an overflow guest room with a pull-out futon. And my 15-year-old daughter is actually a celebrity chef. And so we have a lot of food styling items. So that is also the food styling room, multiple functions, but it's all organized and it looks cohesive. So
Yeah,
that's what you want to do when you're thinking about the room that you're organizing and what functions are going to happen in that room.
and that's an important word, what you said, cohesive.
Co-
Everything needs to look like it all goes together.
exactly.
Right. So another tip here is you want to think vertical. Don't just have everything near the floor or lying around. You guys just saw in my office. Do you see how many things are up above me? And I mean, one reason.
Can you turn us back on? So I want them to look and see this part of my office. Okay, so as you know, I'm an author, so books are really important to me. And that is my bookshelf, and it goes from floor to ceiling. So vertical space is so important. Even on the very top, I have organizational systems up there. Things that I need to use but don't need to use every day.
Yes. How do you get up there?
I use a little step stool.
Are you really tall, Diane?
I'm only 5'3", so I definitely can't reach up there.
Another.
I have a tall boyfriend. Hey, John, can you reach up there?
Is his shirt like off and stuff too? So
Okay, that's another webinar. Mr. Fix-It, right? Hire Mr. Fix-It.
we need, yes. All right, so a second floor basket. I do this all the time. Is I'll put like not a closet basket, like a stair basket on the stairs, or even I just put something on the stairs. Every time someone goes up the stairs, they got to take whatever's on the stairs with them, and not guests, I'm saying, but people that live in my house have to take it to the second floor. So a second floor basket is an easy way to get whatever's on the first floor that needs to be on the second floor back up to its home, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Labeling everything is also very important.
We talked about that a lot. I am so in love with my labeler, and also I am completely and totally obsessed with chalkboard labels, and I use them in a lot of organizing projects. One of the things I love about chalkboard labels, and you can find them everywhere, like at Michael's and Hobby Lobby, Walmart, Dollar Tree, and even online at Amazon.com. I order a lot of chalkboard labels, but they can be erased and rewritten. So if the organization need changes in that bin, basket, or box, you can just erase it and rewrite it.
Yeah, that's a lot easier because then you're saving money too, right?
And they look cute.
Yeah.
Retro.
And then of course you could try a trunk, like you could try a piece of furniture that's also storage. Those are great ideas to use in your home. And storage in the back of your door.
In my living room, I have a coffee table. It's not a trunk, but the coffee table has storage. It's like a storage ottoman. So the ottoman is also a type of trunk, and you can store things in there. So we store all of our family games inside our coffee table ottoman. So thinking of your furniture it as multiple function, just like you're thinking of a room as multiple function, is a great way to get more storage out of your space.
Yeah, and just more space in general, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Where are we on this list over here? So let's ooh. You're looking at me and not my screen.
Yeah.
Got a shot of a closet over here. Let me show it to all of you.
I love this closet, and I'll tell you why, Tori. Because this closet uses many organizational systems and it's multifunction. So right over the door, you'll see a shoe bag organizer. So those are really inexpensive. You can even find them at dollar stores, and you can repurpose them. And actually, that's what they've done. They have other things. They don't have shoes in there. They have other things in there. Then right below that, they have hooks. So you can hang coats or scarves or whatever. And then on the bottom, you'll see that shoe rack. And then at the top, I love that they have those baskets, those woven bins. They're not labeled, but
yeah.
That's one thing I'd change. I'd be like, that's going to get labeled.
You know what I love? I love like that the workout mat is hanging in the back of the closet.
Yeah, that little yoga mat. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and those are really nice hooks too. Those are really cool. So
Yes.
you know what? This is a great way to look at a closet space. It doesn't just have to be for clothing. I actually use my foyer closet is my craft closet. And I've implemented systems in there that hold all of my, I like to craft a lot. So the glue guns and, you know, the fuzzy pom-poms and all of that, but they all have a designation. And so if you open my foyer closet, you're not going to find coats or a vacuum cleaner in there. You're going to find craft things.
Craft stuff. Now,
Yeah.
like, what if you don't have a closet? You can certainly do something like this, and I love this. You just want to make sure that whatever organizing system you're going to use looks decorative and looks pretty, and it's easy enough to keep it contained. So, like you said,
Cohesive.
and cohesive. Cohesive is, look at all the baskets; they all match.
And look at the color scheme. It's blue and white. It's very simple. So it's blue and white and brown are the dominant colors in this. And there's a little pops of yellow. It's really, really pretty. So what they've done is not only do they have the function, but they have the form. I love that so much.
Yes, and then this is another way too. You can kind of get your wall, your command center. You know,
Family Command Center, yes.
and you could do this in an office.
By the front door.
Yes, by the kitchen, by the front door.
Refrigerator. On the side of the refrigerator, you can create one with really strong magnets.
Yep, or even the mud room.
Yes, for those of you who have mud rooms, I live in New Orleans, so we don't have a mud room.
I live in New York. You're lucky I got a kitchen. Speaking of kitchen, this is my kitchen.
Isn't Tori's kitchen lovely? I love that backsplash behind the stove.
Thank you.
Okay, so one thing I want to say about Tori's kitchen, and I think this is important in all kitchens, it's not just because it looks good, but it's clear of clutter. It's also a sanitation issue. So, you know, I have a daughter who's a celebrity chef, and you know, cooking is important to us, and being clean is also important because you want to make sure that you have food safety. So you'll see that she has her knife block out, and you know, the things that she's going to access a lot are out. What is that? Is that a coffee maker back there? Is that a KitchenAid?
Yeah, that's a KitchenAid, and then there's a blender. Now, I mean, there's a new espresso coffee machine because I got my husband one for Christmas, so that's where those plates are now.
It's a beautiful kitchen, and it's a great space. And as soon as you walk in, it's inviting, and it makes you feel calm, and it makes you feel like you can prepare a meal in there and share time with family in there.
Yeah, and then, you know, so there's really five functions of a kitchen. I'm not showing you this picture just to be like, hey, look at my kitchen. So I want to talk about the 5 functions of a kitchen quickly. And so the first is a space to prepare food. The second is cooking and baking supplies. The third is a place to eat. The fourth is function in a kitchen. And it's cleaning, obviously. And then the last is storing items like food and dishes and stuff like that. So this goes back to what we were talking about in zoning your kitchen right. And this whole entire kitchen had to be gutted 2 years ago after Superstorm Sandy hit our house. So I really had an opportunity to maximize my organizational process in this room. So this is what I did. This is the way I zoned it out. This is what you should do in your home, in every room. Basically, you take a piece of paper and you just sketch out your room. Remember, you know, your windows and your doors, of course. And then so you can see here, you can see my windows, you can see my doors, you can see where my stove is. My sink is over, you know, under my window. And then I mapped out the 5 functions of the room. So by the dining is eating, you know, by the cooking is obviously, by the stove is cooking and baking. Cleaning is by, you know, the sink and the dishwasher, and then the dishes are above the dishwasher. You see that there's not a lot of movement that we have to do in this kitchen in order to stay organized. And that's just one way that'll keep you organized and maintained.
Okay, can you pop back to us because I want to show our viewers something. Okay, so I have what is called a dream home binder, and
You hit your face with it.
it's really heavy. Okay, so in my dream home binder, I have it zoned out. This is Eliana's bedroom and the things that we wanted to do with her bedroom. So I have like the paint swatches. We actually did her bedroom in these colors. I have an outdoor section, and just like you, I have like a rudimentary drawing of how I planned my outdoor section. And guess what? It looks exactly like this, except for the hammock. Not yet. I have the hammock. I need a Mr. Fix-It to hang it up. But yeah, so I do the same thing. But what's really great about this is that it keeps all of the plans that you make for your home all in one place. And I actually have a video on this on my YouTube channel, Once Upon a Storage.
That is a very good idea. Another good idea too, if you're more digital, is obviously get a Pinterest account, because you
can I do that too.
Certainly dream over there as well. We got a few more slides, guys. Hang tight. I know we're a little bit over. If you have any home organizing questions, Sharon, I did see your question. We'll get to it in just a little bit. Just type your questions in there, and let's keep going quickly.
Yes.
Yes.
Lots of info, right? I mean, there's so much to know about organizing. For people like us, I think it comes a little more naturally, but it's something that is a learned skill, and everyone can do it.
Yes.
So I said, Tori, really, is this your bathroom? Tori goes, that bathroom's bigger than my whole house.
This bathroom's going in my dream house book, Diane.
Yes, it's going in your dream home it's going in mine too. Look at that tub. What?
I know, it's crazy, right? So, I mean, bathrooms in my world, staging world, it's obviously another selling feature in a home. So if you are on here and you're selling your home, you're trying to get organized, you want your bathroom to feel like a spa, and you want to keep your personal items out of sight. I know I tell my clients all the time, if they have stand-up showers and a lot of products in there, is to corral the products in specific baskets of who that person goes to, and then put those baskets under the sink or in a linen closet or somewhere, so it's out of sight when you're showing your house, or just every day, because who needs to look at 100 products that are mixed and matched and don't necessarily go together. What about this closet, Diane?
Oh my gosh. Okay, you and I both discussed that we do not have linen closets. So that for me is like linen closet bliss. I've had to do some creative storage within my bathroom and within my laundry closet and within I create places for all of my different linens. But yeah, what I love about this space is that you see the like with like. So at the bottom, you see the paper towels, and I actually love how they have some vertical and some horizontal, and the towels are all folded neatly together. At the top, there's the toilet paper, so you can see they have different zones, and they have like with like. And also another thing that people overlook when they're decorating inside closet spaces like this, just the little addition of color to the background, painting it out or putting wallpaper up, just adds so much to the form of that closet.
Yeah, you can even put contact paper, or they have temporary wallpaper now.
Yes, they have some beautiful ones at Target.
Yes, I particularly, I love like the rolling baskets that are right there too.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm having a closet envy.
Yeah. This is my linen closet. I have a medicine cabinet in my bathroom here. And, I love that they put metal on the back of this. Mm-hmm. So you can use those little, I think these are probably at the top almost more for spices. But they're
actually you can find them at IKEA. They're like $1.99.
Yeah, so I love that. I love the fact that they have a shelf, like just that clear shelf in the middle. So they can put two things on there.
Yeah, they actually have a couple of lucite shelves on there. And the other thing that I love is these containers, like for their contact holder and their nail clippers, and then the Q-tips. You know what? One of the things that I use, like for my Q-tips and those types of things, is I reuse candle holders. Like if you buy really nice candles, like the ones from Bed Bath & Beyond or Yankee Candles, and they have like the metal top, what I do is I get my E6000 glue, and I go and buy a little knob from like Home Depot, a 99-cent knob, and I glue it to the top, and it looks like one of those expensive $15 ones or $20 ones that you buy at the store.
That's so nice. I usually just throw mine out.
I'm into that free IY.
Start doing that. One other thing about this,
balling on a budget.
yes. One other thing I'll mention here that I love is that how they're using the back of the door, the medicine cabinet door, to store more stuff. So if you have a medicine cabinet, this is definitely a great way to organize it. So we are finally at number 7.
If it's not perfect, forget it. Forget about it.
Yes. Many times people really never start the organizing process because they're perfectionists.
And you know what they say about perfectionism?
What do they say?
It's the mother of procrastination.
Yes. Yes.
That would be Michael Hyatt. Yeah. So everybody, if you are probably like me and Tori and type A people, you do want things to be perfect, but that is not a reason to stop organizing or stop a project just because you can't get it the way you want it. Right.
Exactly. So, and like we said before early on, it's like a microorganism, you know, it's going to constantly be changing based on the needs of the household, your needs. You know, maybe you discover something that you tried didn't really work. So how do you stay organized here, right? It really, there is no easy task or easy solution. It's just you have to constantly keep kind of like massaging it, right? I like to say.
Yes, tweaking it.
Yes, tweaking it. So in order to stay organized, you can try creating charts and schedules.
That works really well for kids.
Yes. Yes.
You know, to create like a chore chart, things that they can help you do to keep the family organized. Remember that organization in a household should not be just your task. It is the task of the whole family. Why? Because it improves everyone's lifestyle.
It really, really does. And you don't want to you don't want to shock the system. You don't want to do too much at once, or else you're not going to do anything. So start just with one change, see how that goes, and then a few weeks down the road, make another change and another change. What I like to do is do maybe like one big organizing project a month. So by the end of the year, you've done about 12 projects, or even if you just want to do 6, you know.
Last year, I did this thing called daily organizing. So if you go to my Once Upon a Storage Instagram and you look up the hashtag daily organizing, every day I did something small to organize the space, something really small. And, you know, if you're doing this on a daily basis, and it usually took between 10 to 30 minutes to do. And then by the time I finished, it was like the whole house is done. My goal was not just to have the surface areas of my house organized, which so many of us do, but to have the guts organized. So if you opened a drawer or opened a cabinet or a closet, you would see that that was also organized.
Yes, that's a big one. That's kind of what I need to do this year again, is work on the guts. You also want to take a few minutes each day to go through your house and take care, you know, of any items that are not in the proper place. So you want to declutter as you go, and also put it away, right? Don't put it down, because if you put it down, that starts the clutter process. So make sure you put it away, find it, put it back in its home.
We have a saying, it's ABPTA, which stands for always be putting things away. And here's another thing that I like to do. It's called between minutes. So decluttering in your between minutes. So for instance, let's say you put something in the microwave to defrost and it's going to defrost for 13 minutes. What can you do while it's defrosting? Or you just put in a load of laundry. What can you do during that time? You maximize your time. That is not considered multitasking, because your one project is happening by itself, and then you can take that time that waiting time and do something. It's like if you're at the doctor's office, why not, work on your schedule or do something productive while you're waiting. So I call those between minutes.
Yeah. This is something, I forget who said they always need something on that to-do list. That's something you could always constantly be doing, right?
Yes, yes.
Another thing is you want everyone in the house, they should be responsible for cleaning up after themselves. I know it's a lot easier said than done, but it shouldn't just be mom or dad's responsibility to clean the entire house. Really, everyone has to be held accountable, and then you have to reward them. Even if it's once a month with enticing treat, right?
Netflix, whatever, yes.
Something small.
It can be small, but it'd be a great way to reward them is to give the family a group reward, like pizza night, or like, so you're spending time together. Well, I wanted to say something else regarding the group effort. Oh, when my children, both of my daughters are 10 years apart. So when my oldest daughter, who's now 25, her name is Soleil. When Soleil was little, she was 8 years old, I taught her how to do her own laundry. So she did her own laundry and she folded it and put it away. When Eliana turned 8, I did the same thing. So I wasn't doing the family's laundry. Guess what? Everybody in the family was doing their own laundry.
That's so fun.
It's life-changing. It is really life-changing.
Yeah, and you probably did it as the piles collected versus collecting it all week long and then doing it.
Well, we had a level. When it hit this point, then you go do your laundry.
Yeah, I love that. I love that idea. We do that too in the house. When the basket's full, go put a load in.
Look, I'm not a short order cook and I'm not a laundress, okay?
So you also want to have reminders in place. We did talk about that. And then this will help you keep you on track and obviously keep you motivated. Then if necessary, as we mentioned, you want to tweak those systems if you find that they're not completely working for you.
Organization, as Tori said before, is kind of a living, breathing organism. Like your family needs will change. You'll go through life changes. A child will move out of the house and go to college, and then you'll realize you have to set up organization systems for them when they leave, and reroute your own organizing at home.
Yes. I did want to quickly mention I gave you a fast action bonus that you could take part of. This is it. You can go to bit.ly/organizing offer. The website's right there below. And what I'd like to offer you today is our mini organizing course. It's part of our larger home staging course. Now, this is not just for sellers, homeowners who are trying to sell. It's for everyone because organizing rules don't change, really. So it's a complete home organizing strategy. You'll get all the trainings right now. It's 100% online. You're also going to get 4 training videos, 3 worksheets, a couple of checklists and planners that you can customize and implement on your own. And I also have a members only private Facebook group, which is right here. As I mentioned, you're going to get access to that private Facebook group, and it's just another bonus to kind of help you stay motivated. You can share your experiences, get advice from us, and support others as they kind of go through the same process for you. So
like your own coach.
Yes. And I forgot to mention here, so this course is usually $97, but I'm giving it to you today for $47. You can go here to bit.ly/organizing offer. And
like it's Christmas all over again.
It's Christmas all over again. And with that, I also want to give you a 30-minute organizing consultation with me. just to help you finalize your organizing processes. You can also get it with Diane. And then we have some checklists. We have a checklist bundle that has 5 checklists, I believe, inside for each area of your home that you can use. And you'll also get the home organizing plan. So there's a lot of stuff that you can get that can keep you motivated. You'll have access to experts to help you throughout the process. This is lifetime, so it's not like it goes away in a couple of months. This is something to seriously consider if you're serious about getting organized this year. So if you guys want, can you please put some comments, comments, questions into the chat, because this is your time now. We'd love to answer anything you have. If you want the course, you can go to bit.ly/organizing offer. If you signed up for this class, you're going to get a replay of this as well as some other information so you can stay organized.
And focused and productive.
And productive and focused. All of that good stuff. So Sharon said before, what is the best way to organize the linen closet?
Okay. So if you have a dedicated linen closet, you're so lucky. But one of the things, for linens, like bed sheets, folding everything and then having it fit inside one pillowcase is a great way to store those bed linens. Towels, there's a couple of ways you can do towels. I like to roll towels. I kind of do a combination of rolling and folding depending on the size of the towel. But I've seen it in a lot of hotels, and I think the rolled towels look so nice. So if you have the space and the depth for rolled towels, it's really great, and it allows you to access the towel without messing up all the other towels versus stacking the towels. What about you? Do you have some tips, Tori?
I also think using a basket to kind of corral some of the bigger things, but rather than putting, let me just, because I'm kind of using my hands first. You may not understand what I'm talking about. So, rather than just like putting everything back into the basket flat, horizontally, put the basket this way vertically, and then put your different sheet sets or towels in that way, so you can kind of see them all. You can pick and choose without taking everything out to get to the one on the bottom. I think that's
you can also get some of those like shelf separators. That helps too. If you don't have the space for a bin or a basket.
Yes, I like this. I use those for my sweaters in my closet. Yes. What else?
What else do you store in a linen closet? Oh, well, there's like paper towels and toilet paper and those kinds of things. And those also can fit very well inside a bin, a basket, or a box.
I like apothecary jars too, because they're clear, and you can also put like your soaps and loofahs and other toiletries in there, and you can kind of see. You just need to have enough so you can buy in bulk, basically, and then put whatever you need in the apothecary jars, and it makes it look like a pretty accent in your linen closet. So it's just not all towels and.
What else is really great is those over-the-door shoe hangers, the clear ones. Put that on the inside of the linen closet door, and you can store all kinds of things like your travel toothpaste and your toothbrushes and all those other things that you may store inside your linen closet as well.
Yes. I'm just going through the chat here. If you guys have any questions, put them in the chat now. Of course, you can always access us. Let me put our information back up.
We are all over the social media.
You can access us anywhere.
Anywhere and everywhere.
Anywhere, anytime.
And also, we're on Instagram too. That's not on there, but I'm Once Upon a Storage, and you are Tori Toth Stager on Instagram.
Yes.
For those of you who are on Instagram.
Daryl says, great ideas. Project a month just gave me the best idea ever. Thank you. What's the idea? Or Sharon, sorry. Sharon's using Daryl's
account.
No problem. Thank you. Thank you. Noreen says, what is a good way to zone a pantry?
Oh, see, pantries. I just did a pantry video. It went up a couple of days ago. And on my website, my last blog post was all about pantries. So I can definitely
Yes.
talk about it. So the best way to zone a pantry, again, like with like. So some pantry, and I always teach people to think in categories. So what do you access the most? That will be what you need to reach the easiest. So you know how pantries are, vertical, and they go from bottom to top. So in the middle part where you access stuff all the time, that's where you want the things that you use the most. So the family that I organized for, they eat a lot of processed food. But I had a category for cookies and crackers, dry goods, pastas, canned goods, uh, baking. Baking was is big. They bake a lot. So they have a couple of baking baskets. And then I also stored their paper goods in there. So they have straws and paper plates, paper towels, napkins, all of that goes on its own shelf called paper goods. And what I did was I took a binder clip. They're like I love binder clips. Okay, I'm just going to use this as an example. And so I take the binder clip. Wait,
Come up.
there we go.
Yeah.
This comes from my files, but so I put a label on it, or you can write on it with a chalkboard pen actually, and then I stick this on the actual shelf. So it says paper goods, so the family knows that paper goods go on that shelf, so they don't mix it up because it's a new system for them. So I try to make things as easy as possible. Other things that might be stored in the pantry might be light bulbs and batteries, and those would go in its own category as well. And I like to containerize things. What about you, Tori? You have any tips for pantries?
For pantries, I just think that you kind of want to use, I don't know what the formal name is called, but I like the stepping,
Oh, yeah, for spices and stuff.
yeah, so you can kind of see what's going on in the back of your pantry, because if you have everything on or if you have everything on just one level, it kind of, you can't see what's behind you, and then you'll buy multiples. So also Lazy Susans as well, and you get like double Lazy Susans, so
those are great.
The whole thing to just spin around and kind of see what's going on in there.
An amazing Lazy Susan that you can make for $3. I love the Dollar Tree. I think Alejandra from Alejandra TV first posted this, but you take a cake pan, you put marbles inside the cake pan, you put another cake pan inside of it, and it makes an incredible Lazy Susan. And I actually have a couple of those in my kitchen. It works really well.
That's a pretty cool idea. I haven't heard about that.
It's really, really cool. And they spin super, super nice. Like, they really spin, and they don't, they're really cool. But for $3 instead of spending, $20 on a Lazy Susan, if you're on a budget.
D. Ling says, my Lazy Susan in the kitchen makes me crazy. What is the best things to store there? Considering it's in garbage carousel, storage just seems so awkward in there.
Okay, so she's asking what to store on the Lazy Susan. I think Lazy Susans are best for oils, vinegars, spices. So like if you take your oils and vinegars and put them in the middle, because they're taller, and then maybe put spices around, then you can see everything. Because some Lazy Susans are really big, and they have a lot of space. Also, some canned goods are good to store on Lazy Susans.
What about, I don't
on a Lazy Susan, if you like your flowers, and you have those graduated containers, those can also go on a Lazy Susan. You know what? I love those OXO containers. That's another favorite, where they're clear and they have the top where you just press on it, and they're airtight. Those are great for cereals and pastas and flours, sugar, those kinds of things.
And you could put all that on a Lazy Susan in different heights.
Exactly.
And if you have a Lazy Susan, let's say in your cabinet, because it sounds like you already have one and it can't be removed that easily, maybe consider putting your pots.
I was going to say that, pots and pans.
So you can easily get to it. What else? Tupperware?
Pots and pans are great on one of those big corner cabinet Lazy Susans. Yeah, pots and casserole dishes that I hate reaching for casserole dishes in a corner cabinet. So if you have a Lazy Susan in a corner cabinet, that's a great way to store them as well.
Yeah, and all your other big.
Oh, and also like large items. So if you have a large cabinet with the Lazy Susan, your KitchenAid can go in there and other large appliances that you don't use every day.
Yeah. So I hope that helps. Didn't kind of know where you're going with that question, D-Lang, but I hope that helps. Let us know. I think that's all the questions we have right now at the moment.
Well, I have to say thank you everyone for hanging on for so long. It was kind of a long webinar, but I think we dispensed so much information, and I hope everyone got something out of it. Please let us know what you got out of this webinar. What one or two things are you going to implement in your life to help keep you organized this year and in the future?
Yes, and here is our information. Make sure to jot that down. Even if you just take a screenshot of it all, you guys can.
Or a picture with your smartphone.
Hi, ladies. I was wondering what's the best method to organize toys. I have 2 girls and don't know what to do with all these toys.
Okay, I can take a shot at this because I just recently did a toy organization thing for a family. So I love those. I see them in kindergarten classrooms a lot. Obviously, I work in schools because I'm a children's book author, so I get to visit schools a lot. So in the kindergarten classroom, they have the shelves that have those primary color plastic bins in them. Those are really great to store toys, and you can put like Legos in one, or if you have girls, you can put dolls in one, and My Little Pony in another, and La La Loopsy or whatever in another bin. So those are really great. And also Target and the Container Store, they have those shelving systems that have the square shelves, and you can put those fabric bins that fit perfectly in them. You can also find those bins that are clear. And with kids, if you put a picture of the item that goes in the bin, they're more likely to put that item away. So for instance, if it's filled with action figures, you'll want to print out a picture of an action figure and put it on the actual bin so the child knows that it goes in that bin. Because if you don't have the bin labeled and they can't read yet, then it's going to end up as a mismatch.
Yes, Crystal S says cubicle from Target with fabric bins. So I guess that's what you were just talking about. Make sure you sort through them first, and then also fill Ziplocs with miscellaneous toys for garage sales. If you're not sure what to do with the loose pieces, how many?
I'm afraid to get rid of Happy Meal toys. I cannot tell you the number of families I come across that have a ginormous supply of Happy Meal toys, and their parts are so little and not so good for very young children. So, they can enjoy it. It comes with the meal. You've already paid for the meal. Don't be afraid or feel guilty to let it go.
They even have now those Shopkins, which are so small and they're so popular.
What a miniature.
Yeah. For me, just for kids storage, especially out in, a main living area or something like that, is use like your built-ins or get some type of a closet and use hat boxes or baskets, something to try and contain these big pieces items. I also use furniture like an ottoman or a trunk that we talked about, and put those bigger toys in there so they can access them. Of course, you don't want little toddlers doing that because they could hurt their fingers, but those bigger toys can certainly go in something that size and still be contained and look pretty.
And here's the other thing about toy storage. Try to have a space for the toy, designated for the toys. If you have to have toys out in the public area, make sure that your storage system is not only functional, but also has the beautiful form, so it's cohesive with your existing decor and furniture. I see a lot of families totally get overrun by their children's toys in the public areas. And, you know, it can be a tripping hazard or a safety hazard. So, you know, also rotate toys out. Kids get tired of toys, and if you bring new toys in and take the old toys out and kind of rotate them, it makes them feel like it's Christmas all over again, even though they've probably seen those toys before, but they don't get to play with them often. So don't be afraid to rotate the toys.
That's true. Any ideas on how to keep little kids' end of school year papers and work?
I actually, I bought this binder a long time ago, and I don't know, it's called the school binder. I don't know if it still exists, but in it has these folders that you can put all the important papers. And the thing is, I know it's so hard to get rid of your child's memories, but what I keep in there are all the report cards, very special things that they made for me, like, you know, Merry Christmas, Mommy cards, those kinds of things that they made at school. And I just try to keep it very streamlined. If that is too small of an area for you, I also have created, like for Eliana, because she does a lot of television appearances and they always want to know her history. So I have to keep more than I would usually keep. I keep a memory box under her bed, and it's one of those rolling under the bed boxes. So you can store things in there as well.
Yeah, that's a pretty good idea. I mean, definitely, you don't want to keep everything.
No.
You know, you wanted to switch out some artwork throughout the year and, you know, frame it and put it in specific places. You can
like on the refrigerator, you know, you can actually like create a frame with magnets and make it like beautiful art. Another thing that I did when my children were little is I actually had an art portfolio that I placed on the coffee table. So every time we had company, they could show their artwork, and we would rotate those pieces out. So, you know, one more thing I would like to say about children's art is there are apps and there are programs out there that take your art and turn them into books. So
yes, I was just going to say that.
Yeah, so you can take your children's beautiful art and do one every year. And that way you can actually get rid of the paper clutter and just have a shelf of books, you know, from kindergarten on. How cool is that? That is a legacy right there.
Yeah. When are they just going to stop making kids use paper and just give them a tablet or something to use for the
Just let them create one of those books at the end of every school year, right? And just bring home the book, just like they do the yearbook.
Yes. All right, guys, do you have any more questions? Have you ever thought of becoming a minimalist, or is that too extreme for you?
I thought of becoming a minimalist after Katrina. And when you lose so much, it definitely makes you reassess the value of things. And when I had to rebuy everything, oh my gosh, like the kitchen, you don't realize how much you accumulate over time. So when you have to go and just like buy everything brand new,
yeah,
you know how many times I had to go to the store because I forgot a whisk or a something, you know? So when I lived in an apartment in Houston for a year after Katrina, I would definitely say I was more of a minimalist. When I came back, my house was rebuilt. Slowly it became filled with things, but all the things that spark joy. So I try not to have anything extraneous that I don't need or don't really love. And if I do, then I sell it or donate it or toss it.
Yeah, I feel like I don't, obviously I'm not living with nothing, but I really don't have, I think we live pretty minimalistic. First of all, we don't have a lot of storage space in this house to begin with. So we have to use whatever we're using creatively and have to be using what we're using, or else we just don't have the space for it. The one place where I'm not minimalistic, I would say, is my closet and my clothes and my shoes and those types of
Confessions.
I'm ready to change out my guest room and make it a whole entire walk-in closet.
I'm coming over and doing an intervention, Tori.
So that would be my only place where I'm not really minimalistic, but I mean, it all depends on you. If you can live without certain things, I mean, people backpack, travel the world with just a backpack. Or I used to live in South Carolina, and me and my husband I had to go down there for a while for work as a TV reporter, and I didn't have a lot of stuff in that apartment. So that was pretty minimalistic for me. Hope that answers your question, CC Main. And thank you, Yannette, for that other question. All right, guys, if you don't have any other questions, we've been on this call for about 2 hours now. We are doing another one of these tomorrow at 2 p.m. So you can
tell your friends.
Sign on. Yes, tell your friends. All right.
Same content. So for those of you who have already attended, we definitely want you to spread the word and tell all your friends and people you think might need organization, like your spouses, your significant others.
Why not do this as a family, as a group?
Yeah, that'd be good.
Here is our information one last time for you guys to grab. Yannette is now asking, wait. Sharon's saying, wait. What are we waiting for, Sharon?
Wait. She's like, wait, don't leave us yet. Don't go.
Well, we can stay on as long as you want.
Well, you can, but I have a daughter to pick up.
God. All right. Yannette says, what can I do with all the books and notebooks from college? I feel guilty somehow to let them go, or think I could need some information. You want to know?
Okay. That falls in the what if category, which can be such a demon that, oh, what if I need it later? So for those books that you have, take heart in that all of that information you learned in college and that's in those books is online. I promise you. Everything that you need to find is there. Now, if the notebooks are sentimental to you, which, we all have sentimental notebooks. I start a new journal every year, and I actually have them all up in my office. Categorize them and put them by subject and put them in pretty binders, organize it, and keep them. And if you find that, you're not accessing them at all, then maybe it's time to get rid of them. But if they're sentimental to you and you want to keep them, then by all means do. Just find a good place to store them.
Awesome. I mean, for me, I was kind of doing the same thing. I graduated college in 2004, and all the books were in my office. And then when Sandy hit, I had to throw them all out. So it really didn't shed a tear. And
did you miss it after it was gone, Tori?
No,
I mean, really?
I never really opened them anyway.
See?
So I didn't miss them when they were gone. And like you said, everything is really online, and it's at the tip of your fingertips.
It really is.
Yes. So
make money off of those books. They have lots of secondhand bookstores that like to take those college textbooks back. Go ahead and make money off of those books and free up some space to store other more important things.
Just quickly here, Crystal says, yeah, we donate our old texts. Sharon says, I just turned the basket on its side and I've placed the towels and it looks great.
Yeah. Can you please post that picture on Instagram and hashtag it Home Organizing 2016? We would love to see those pictures of your successes.
Yes, Sharon, please post that. And yeah, you can post it.
They're organizing as they take the webinar. How freaking cool is that?
I love it. All right, Susie says, thanks, girls, so much fun. Sharon says, and also put the sheets in the pillowcases, and it does save space. Thank you, Crystal. Really Crystal is saying, I need to do that pillowcase thing. I hate the dust. Chris also says she loves the crown, and Sharon says good night. All right.
And also, here you go, little organization magic for you.
So why don't we end the show with your little
Of course, I always say that life is too short not to sparkle. Here's to organizing happily ever after. With Tori Toth and Diane de las Casas.
Yes, thank you guys so much for joining us. And we will talk to you soon. Please check us out online. And if you have any questions about home organizing,
hit us up.
You know where to find us. Have a good night, guys.
Bye.
Thanks, Diane.
Thank you. Kisses at the same time. Talk to you tomorrow.